Avenue, and then we'll take it higher.
The Game Sports Show is pleased to shout out a partner, additional home, and sponsor to Northern Superior Brewing Company, located on 50 Pym Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Northern Superior Brewing Company having a strong presence locally with many beers to offer. With much involvement in the community of Sault Ste. Marie, Northern has a sport and friendly-like atmosphere within its tap room, and during the summer months, it is a must to visit Pier 55 to enjoy some delicious food, amazing view of the water, and view of the Bush Play Museum right on the cusp of the Hub Trail, and of course, all of that down with a delicious brew from Northern Superior. Northern Superior Brewing Company. It's a northern thing.
Booyah, and it's time for the Game Sports Show, the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. You're listening to the show on thegamesportshow.com, thegamesportshow.podbean.com, or through the Scott Nason YouTube channel. And we have also been directed here through one of our social media pages at the Game Sports Show or at the Game Sports Show SSM through Facebook or Instagram, respectively. We're here live for the March the 7th, 2019 edition of the Game Sports Show from Northern Superior Brewing Company. We're here live in the tap room, and we're here drinking some delicious beer from Northern Superior Brewing Company. I'm here alongside Dane Hancherow and Justin Hykel. I'm going to bring in the fellas in just a few moments to get through the usual introduction portion of the Game Sports Show here tonight, and we're very happy you're able to join us here tonight. I want to say thank you to Scott Nason, whom is our board operator tonight, as always. And you can listen to a previous edition of the Game Sports Show that was just uploaded on our Facebook page and Podbean page on the website mid-afternoon today from Sports Center last night. Myself and Jamie Antonello were live on location from the Sioux's Best Sports Bar, named for 3 years in a row. You can check that out. We did not have a show at the Wicked Sister or Icebreakers this week. We had some last-minute cancellations. Next week, we do plan to have a show Monday, and we also plan to have a show on Tuesday. It'll be a 2-hour special on Tuesday from Icebreakers, as we do not have a show next Wednesday or Thursday from Northern Superior, as yours truly is going on a trip to Montreal and Ottawa. A very gracious gift that was received to me from my girlfriend for Christmas. Definitely going to be enjoyable. Good to see the Leafs and Sens live. Going to be great. Maybe get some. Going to be a great time. From the guy who just said in the background, "Go Sens, go!" Absolutely not. That's Dane Hancherow, my roommate, good friend from high school, where we met in grade 11. Is where Dane and I officially met. It was grade 10, but we officially started hanging out more in grade 11 when I went to the Dun. You and I are also foster parents for a dog from Northern Critters. Now, his name is Kendrick. You can check him out on Facebook. Absolutely amazing dog. Now, I'm not being biased or anything of such. I've had a dog for over 10 years, a Yorkie Maltese mix from Morkie, and he's absolutely awesome. I love the dog I have at home. His name is Dodger. And when I got this guy named Kendrick that came into our lives approximately a week ago, the dog was a rescue from Northern Critters in Need, who was chained up to a deck for basically the entirety of his life for the first year and a half or so. And for the past 3 months, he's been under the care of a trainer through Northern Critters named Joel, who's done a fantastic job with him. They've put over $5,000 in fixing the scar on his neck. The hair's grown back fabulous. You can't even tell that there is a little scar underneath there. He is a great dog that we have that Dane and I are fostering. And he is available for adoption. And I will be at PetSmart tomorrow from 5 to 6, where you can check him out and come visit him. And he can be the dog that you can have for a lifetime, not just a dog, but a best friend for life as well. Just a little corny post for that, for the one only great Kendrick. Now, I'm going to bring in the guy that's, as I just said, that I'm fostering the dog with, Dane Hancherow. Dane, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Just looking forward to going back home later to see my pooch.
Little love for Kendrick, who is putting so much fur around the apartment, but you know what? He's loving life, and I've never seen a dog be so happy now, and it's amazing. Justin, you've also adopted a dog from Northern Critters in Need. You have a great relationship with that dog. No issues with that dog. Great. You must recommend fostering or adopting from Northern Critters. Definitely give back to Northern, who does a lot for the Sioux. And when you heard I got Kendrick, we have to take the two dogs for a walk, don't you, Fig, pretty soon?
I think so. I mean, once it stops being minus 20 out, I think we should get a play date going. But, yeah, 100%. I mean, anyone that's looking for a pet should definitely be looking Northern Critters way. I mean, they were amazing to deal with. I mean, we took on a bit of a special case. Ours had been returned a couple times. She's been an absolute dream for us. And Pam and everyone at Northern Critters that I dealt mostly with Pam. I have met a couple people here in town.
Yeah.
Everyone's awesome. I mean, you don't do what they're doing because it's fun. They do what they're doing because they care about the animals and they really want to make sure they're going to good homes.
See, he's such an amazing dog, Kendrick is for sure, and all the dogs that we have. My best friend Jerry Patingolo rescued. He rescued a dog, but he adopted a dog through Northern Critters. Northern Critters did the rescuing, and his name is Griffin. And that dog is absolutely amazing. The Northern Critters does great things. I want to give them a little shout out here at the intro of the Game Sports Show. And for Kendrick, if you have an interest in adopting a dog, it's a Shepherd Malamute Husky mix. Big dog. Absolutely amazing. House trained, everything. Just an amazing dog through thick and thin, everything. But fellas, we have a show to talk about here tonight. And for tonight's show, we're going to talk about some local hockey in perspective for the Thunderbirds, for the Hounds, for the Eagles, LSSU, and go through that realm. And then after we have our break, we're going to come back and talk some NHL news. And we're also going to get up to some 3 up, 3 down with baseball to conclude tonight's show as well. So I want to jump in to discuss a few things with local hockey. I'm going to let Dane and Justin take a quick breather, and I'm going to bring Dane back in just a few moments to talk about the Hounds. But the NOJHL regular season completed just last weekend and last week between the Thunderbirds and Eagles, as the Thunderbirds finished their last game of the season on Wednesday, March the 6th, which was yesterday, by defeating Blind River 5-2. The Eagles finished, which would be on Tuesday, March the 5th. They lost 10-2 to the Rayside Balfour Canadians. But they did play on Sunday, and they won 6-0 on Sunday, did the Sioux Eagles. And the Sioux Thunderbirds, who also played on Saturday, defeated Sioux Michigan 5-3 as they played each other. And that was the day of the alumni game from the John Rhodes, as yours truly was a part of that alumni game. It was a fantastic turnout. I want to say thank you to the Thunderbirds organization and to Trevor Zachary and to everyone who came out. And next year we will have a date more done in advance, and we plan to have some big plans for the alumni game next year. Maybe make it a tournament, maybe some 3-on-3, maybe make a little charitable cause for it at the end of it all through the show, and also through the Sioux Thunderbirds and through Icebreaker Sports Bar and Grill, where the home of the show is on Sundays and Tuesdays of the show. But the Sioux Thunderbirds are awaiting their playoff opponent, as the Sioux Thunderbirds are going to not play until the second round. They get a bye due to finishing second. They play the winner of the Western quarterfinal. And speaking of the first round, you have the Cochrane Crunch, who are going to be playing the East Division 4th seed, and then you have Blind River Beavers, who have their matchup set between the Elliott Lake Wildcats, and they will get underway on Friday, March the 8th at 7 o'clock. Do those Beavers home in Blind River. The second round, you're going to have Hearst and Kirkland, who also got the byes before round 3, and then obviously round 4 going on, as the playoffs are now here for the NOJHL. Justin, you must admit, time is absolutely flying by. It seems like just yesterday that we were here in August doing the show launch, and then we had John Parker come in to talk about the season upcoming. Thunderbirds had a great season, win the regular season, winning their division. A lot of expectations for the Birds. The Eagles, no one understood what their expectation was going to be, if they were going to be a team that was going to be a top of the seed, if they'd be middle of the seed, or if they're in that rebuilding phase. They definitely did, I think, a very good year. They have a very good coaching staff, a very hard-working team. And Blind River, no one really expected what Blind River was doing either. The expectations were kind of all around the clock, I'd like to say, and the Thunderbirds right now, I don't want to say they exceeded expectations. Okay, I think they are where they're supposed to be, but they continued that all year, and they kept growing all year. And the play of Lucas Terrio has been fantastic with the Thunderbirds as well. And Kenny McDonald, their captain, has done a fantastic job as well. And John Parker and the staff of the Thunderbirds have done a lot of work with that team throughout this year, and they've been successful throughout the entirety of the year. And like I said, it seems like just yesterday that this season was just getting underway, and now we're talking playoffs in the NOJHL.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, judging, if you looked outside, you wouldn't think it was March, that's for sure. But the season's, it's been crazy. It kind of seemed like 2 weeks ago it was January, but we're a week into March already. So it's nuts that the Thunderbirds looking at the playoffs right now. The Hounds probably another 3 weeks away. Yeah. Like it's crazy. It's nuts. I didn't really think about it, to be honest, until you just put that all on the plate right there, and I was kind of looking through my notes and like, shit, we're there.
We have the playoffs in the NOJHL, playoffs for LSSU that I'm just going to get in a few moments. And I did just put that through on you as I was supposed to go to Dane first prior to you, but I like to change my agenda around. That's the goal of everything. It makes it more fun. But the NOJHL playoffs, any kind of information, you can reach out to myself, Trevor Zachary, or any representatives between the Eagles or Beavers if you're in that realm of the area, and we can provide you some scheduling news or any kind of updates as necessary. And you can also look at Hockey TV throughout the playoffs as well. A lot of great individuals do work for that to make sure you're able to stay in tune and updated with the NOJHL playoffs. Now, another set of playoffs that are getting started is LSSU. Now, LSSU, I think it's fair to say this is a season that not everyone expected was going to be for LSSU. Not saying that they were going to be a team that was going to fail by any means. They had a great season. Okay, and they split their last week, and they won 5-2, then they lost 3-2 at Ferris State. And LSSU concluded the year with a 21-11-2 record. They won the Great Lakes Invitational, which was huge for that organization. Now against Bemdji State, they played against them back on the 25th of January, and they split the weekend against Bemdji State. And they also they're familiar with Bemdji. And now coming into the playoffs, it's not like these guys are strangers. They know what they can expect. The game tape's going to be all around. They are home to Bemdji State. That will be on the 8th, which is going to be tomorrow, as LSSU. And the Game Sports Show is being involved to the playoff run with the LSSU Lakers. They play Bemdji State at 7 on Friday, which is tomorrow, as I mentioned, and Saturday at 7 o'clock as well. Then Sunday will be at 4 o'clock, an action-packed weekend for the Lakers as they continue their season in terms of hopes that they can prolong their season is the word I'm looking for. And they all have a great team on the ice. They got a great fan base over there in Sault, Michigan, and they got great support here in Sault, Ontario. Make sure you get out to enjoy some LSSU playoff hockey. It's been a while since we've been able to see this type of team on the ice for the LSSU Lakers. I'm not saying this is the team from the late 80s, early 90s by any means, but this is a positive direction LSSU has, and I really do think that they have a chance to make a noise and do very well. And Bemdji State's going to be a tough challenge, but I think LSSU has to be the team that people are looking at as a little bit of an edge against Bemdji State. Another team locally that has not been doing as hot as of late are the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. The Greyhounds dropped another one last night against Sudbury, and that was a score by 3-1. Previously on the weekend, they lost to Owen Sound, and they also lost to the Oshawa Generals. And the Hounds have now dropped to 5-4-1 in their past 10. So I'm going to go to Dane on this one here. The Hounds, they had some good news today with Mac Hollowell, who signed with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I'm going to bring that into now opposed to waiting for it for the NHL portion. Some good news of the organization. Not a surprise. The kids at Steele, we've talked about that in the 4th round where the Leafs got Hollowell. But are you worried at all, Dane, about this little slide that the Hounds are on? They are now currently 2 points behind Saginaw for second in the conference. And also Saginaw is ahead of them in the division by 2 points. And people are expecting that the Hounds and Saginaw are going to be a second-round matchup. The Hounds want to try to get that home ice advantage. But is it looking kind of bleak now, even though it's 2 points? Is it a bad thing that they've kind of having a slide right now? Or are you a little bit worried? What are your thoughts?
They played a couple of really good hockey teams. I mean, Sudbury and Saginaw are really two good hockey teams. I think they would probably want to get the first seed so they can get home ice in the second round. I think that's pretty important. Little 4-game slide. I don't think they've, judging by the scores of the games, it doesn't look like they've played horribly bad. But, yeah, they definitely got to pick it up. It's getting a little late in the season to start going on slides like this. But, yeah, I think into the future, I think, they definitely want to have that home ice in that second round. I think that's very, very important. So hopefully they can pick up their stocks on the remainder of the season. And speaking of Mac Hollowell, for any Leafs fans out there, be excited because I think that kid's going to be a really good hockey player for the Toronto Maple Leafs one day. It might take him a little time to bloom in the AHL as defensemen take a little bit longer to patience. But he's going to be a good hockey player.
The Hounds right now, if the playoffs were to start today, they would actually play Owen Sound in the first round. London has clinched the conference, of course, London Knights. So the Hounds are playing to try to get that seed and get over Saginaw. That is the goal. And with these Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, when they play Saginaw, I've even said from the beginning of the year, if they play Saginaw in that second round, Saginaw has a little bit of a sour taste towards the Hounds from last year, and they've improved that team, including Owen Tippett. And Saginaw's got a good team, and so do the Hounds. It's going to be a hard-fought series. That is the ideal thing for the Hounds, was to try to get that first seed in the conference and let London and Saginaw beat the crap out of each other. But when I look back, the Hounds do well against London. So I think if they can play Saginaw, I think the winner of that series is a team that goes beyond. I'm really not convinced that London is the team to beat. Yes, they're first in the conference. Yes, they got the better record. So statistics are really against me, and trust me, I'm a statistics guy, and Dane can back me up on that. But I'm saying right now, I think between Saginaw and the Hounds, those are the two teams to really watch when it come out of the conference. But the Hounds right now play on Saturday against the Sarnia Sting, then Sunday at home against Windsor, 7 o'clock and 2:07 respectively. Big games next week for the final two games of the season. Absolute massive games. If the Hounds can win both games, let's say Saginaw wins games this weekend, Saginaw plays the Hounds in Saginaw on Thursday, March the 14th at 7 o'clock. And the Hounds play against London on Friday, which would be March the 15th. Then on Sunday, guess who the Hounds conclude their season against? The Saginaw Spirit at home. Two out of their three last games are against a team that they're chasing to try to get home ice. Crucial that the Hounds, Dane, win these two games this weekend, get out of that slide, get back to that winning mode, as I snap my fingers in the background here, as listeners probably just heard. Going against Saginaw, London, Saginaw, big three games. You need Villalta to be hot. Frost has to be hot. They have to be focused. And when I'm confident against London, to be honest, especially at home, even if Evan Bouchard plays his standard 40 minutes in the hockey game, which he doesn't get off the ice. Last time we were there covering the game, Bouchard must have played 35 minutes and Boquist must have played 30. So right now I like the Hounds at home against London. The game that is my big battle for the Hounds is on the road in Saginaw. I think that is where, and they're averaging a lot of fans there in Saginaw. They're selling out. It's a hostile environment, and Saginaw knows the implications of those games.
Yeah, with 10 games left to go, Saginaw does have a game in hand over the Greyhounds right now, so that 2 points is definitely crucial for them to catch back up. But I think the positive thing to look at it is that they control their own destiny. I mean, if they can stay very close in the standings within a point or two of Saginaw, I mean, you win those last 3 games this season, you're going to get home ice advantage, right? So I think
5 days left, 10 points left on the team.
I think it is a good thing. I mean, losing against Saginaw last week was
wake-up call.
A little bit of wake-up call, but they still have a chance to, kind of get retribution for that game. I think it's a good thing. You got to look at that as a positive that they have 2 matchups down the stretch, and they definitely got to get their other big players going. Frost, Hollowell, and those guys. This is the time of the year where they gotta get to that extra level that they've already been playing. And I mean, they've been playing great all year, but playoff time's right around the corner, and I think they're holding themselves to a high level this year after the run we made last year. And
expectations weren't that high this year.
I think that team fully expects themselves to be back in the OHL finals and potentially going to the Memorial Cup. And I think all of Sault Ste. Marie and all Greyhound fans have confidence that the team can do it, and they've been playing good all year. But like I was mentioning before, I think home ice advantage, especially in the OHL, is with the travel, the hard travel. I think is definitely very important. So those last. Yeah, especially right now. But those last 2 games against Saginaw are huge.
But I'll say that when it comes to playing in a playoff series, it doesn't matter. You got to play 2 games in their barn. They got to play 2 games in your barn. But it's that Game 7. If we look at the NHL, look at Toronto when they play Boston in Game 7 in the playoffs. I'm just saying that when you get into an environment, and Saginaw has a very good fan base, especially when they're winning hockey games. It's hostile. These are young kids that have to battle that adversity. Just saying.
I disagree that in a sense. I think Game 7 home ice advantage isn't quite as important, and I just think it's the last game. I think anything can happen. I think where home ice advantage really comes in hand is those 2 first games at home. If you can win those 2 first games at home and have that kind of lead, if you pull off one game on the road in game 3 or 4 and get that 3-1 series, it's so hard to come back when you have to go play when you have 2 road games and you're already down 3-1 in the series. So that's where I look at home ice advantage being really important. I don't really look at it as game 7. And I think if you look at the playoffs in the NHL the last couple of years, you want to look at overtime goals, it's not the home team winning it as much as you would think. I mean, Pat Kane, I guess that was game 6 when he scored that in Philadelphia. But regardless, I think a couple of the LA, Chicago game 7s when they were battling the playoffs, I don't know if they were home ice wins, but I think, did Alec Martinez, when they beat Chicago when they went to the Cup Finals, was that was in Chicago or was that in LA? I can't remember, but regardless, I don't think Game 7 home ice advantage isn't quite as...
Rangers at home to win the Cup, and then they beat the Devils at home to win the Cup. Both games were... but, again, LA, the NHL, different kind of atmosphere, but the Hounds are in a spot right now that they need to get hot, try to get hot going into the playoffs and ride that momentum. Justin, final thoughts with the local hockey here in the Sioux, especially with the Hounds?
Well, I mean, as far as the Hounds go, it's kind of... From a fan perspective, it's nice looking at the slate of games they have leading into the playoffs because it's kind of a smarten up test, you know?
Yeah.
Like, right, and shake off the nonsense. And you know what? They haven't really played bad hockey most of the games. It's been some sloppy mental mistakes throughout the game.
They've been really I see what you're saying.
You know, it hasn't been like a full team laying an egg. It's just been some moments where maybe people are overthinking. You know, it bugs me. It's these little things that, I mean, maybe I'm holding them to the standard of the team that we saw last year in the playoffs. You know, and maybe that's a shame on me for holding them in that higher regard because this team came into the season with not as high of expectations. I think as far as...
They were like a 6-7 seed potential.
Well, and I think the general consensus at the table right now is they've exceeded expectations for all of us as far as the season goes. So... you know, just smarten up the next couple games. You got a couple good games, and as far as, you know, not putting the team totally accountable, the fans got to get their butts in the seats too. You know, you want to get
we'll be there.
You want to get these guys pumped up going into the playoffs, then you got to give them a playoff environment to get them excited to play in. You know, we say this time and time again.
When's the last time you've been able to say, "Oh, what a loud night at the Gardens"?
Well, you know what? In fairness, the last 6 weeks has been brutal. I mean, not many people are looking to go out after they shovel the driveway 6 times after work. You know,
they watch it on TV.
Well, and that too.
I'm not saying anything to Shaw. That's great what they do.
I recently discovered it was available in high def in the 300 pay-per-view channels.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was
that's more reason to stay home.
Well, I watched the Sunday afternoon game on it, but
yeah,
you know, I basically just chirped myself there. But no, seriously, the fans got to get out there, get their butts in the seats, support these guys, and, you know, give them that extra edge, that little confidence boost so they can, you know, win these games, win the tight ones, and get the home ice advantage going into the playoffs.
Say that for the Hounds. You can say that for every team locally. Eagles, Thunderbirds, Beavers even.
I mean, Sault Ste. Marie, I remember going to the first year of the SR Center, or was the Steelback Center then.
Yeah.
Pardon my... But the first series that they ever played was against the London Knights. And I remember we were down, I think it might have been in the second round, but we were down 3-0 in that series. And this was like the Wayne Simmons, Jeffries era. And the atmosphere in Game 6, because we made a little comeback, and then Game 7 obviously didn't go our way in London when we made the comeback. But the atmosphere in Game 6, and Sam Gagner and Pat Kane were actually playing for the London Knights at that time. But it was incredible. All the white towels were going. People were screaming. It was, I would say, as far as any hockey game I've gone to in Sault Ste. Marie. And that's what we need to get back to, because that was a very close hockey game with lots of penalties and could have gone either way. And I literally think like the crowd helped will the Greyhounds to beat London in that game. So
I remember Kajewski being the goalie for the Hounds, and everyone said juice all the time. And then you got Carter going down the right wing, and he would snipe top Ched from the top of the circle all the time.
That guy would shoot from the
blue line and snipe.
From the blue line.
Tyler Kennedy grinding low on the corner. Everyone just chants going on towel waves. I remember them tying a game with like a minute left. Then they end up losing the game at home, but it was packed. You couldn't even stand. You had to like reach I was like on my dad's shoulders I was 5 years old, mind you, guys. But like I'm just saying, I kind of really can remember. That's this year last year. But again, it's an atmosphere that used to be there, and why it isn't now absolutely blows my mind. I know the rink wasn't built as good as it should have been. I get that shit. I do. All right, I understand that they should have did it better, and I don't mean to chirp the people. Okay,
the amount of seats that
they should have had more seats. We can't even get a memorial. We can't even get a Memorial Cup here because of that. We can't even
host the Briar.
We can't host the Briar.
We can only get the Scotties.
The Scotties. And now with a little bit of golf, a little curling coverage here on the show.
We're like 400 seats short. You couldn't pour a couple more inches of concrete to put another row of seats?
And then I feel bad when the Thunderbirds play there. They get 150 people and they block off half the arena. And it still looks empty.
That's what happens when your major sponsors Cheetah Energy Drink and whatever that beer was called, their Steelback beer, which I remember being the most disgusting beer that I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, it was not a good beer. It's not as good as Northern's.
No,
definitely not.
I
Definitely not.
Consider Steelback beer even beer.
It's not even fair to have that in the same conversation, Dave. So
I'm going to say right now that the rink could have been built better, but we've had that conversation time and time again on the show already.
Sault Ste. Marie will have that conversation. Like, this will be. I mean, we're not.
Maybe we can have a show where we can just chirp everyone in the Sioux that doesn't do everything right.
Well, I mean,
like the board,
but
the people that run this city.
That was the opportunity for this city to, get it right as far as the rink goes, because we're not gonna get another rink in like 50 years.
No,
honestly, we aren't. If it happens again,
we might get a new rink because of the McMeekin.
That's the most unfortunate thing. You're putting in such a big investment for a major money contributor to Sault Ste. Marie, and you're gonna cheap out on not ever being able to host a Memorial Cup. Like, I can't even imagine how much money that would bring into the town with hotels. And
what would entice you to play here then? Like, let's rewind to look at that for 1 second. And I'm not chirping the Hounds here. I'm not chirping the Hounds. I want people to pump the brakes. No, it's a fantastic organization. And they do great for the show too. And I'm just saying right now that if you don't have a rink that can host Memorial Cup, it might hesitate some walk-ons. When you draft a player, guess what? You own them. Okay, but so it's different. It's not like the NHL. But maybe there's a walk-on that's a stud. You want to bring him. Can you host a Memorial Cup? No, we got to earn our way to get there. But again, that's another conversation. But
it has to do. It's location. I mean, you got to think of the majority of the hockey players that play in the OHL are coming from Southern Ontario, obviously because it's the most highly populated area in Ontario.
Is it?
And I think a lot of kids, when you're 16, 17 years old, a lot of them get homesick, and they like to be. Sault Ste. Marie is by far off, way out of the way than any other team in the OHL.
I remember the Sioux at one point being the team that beat the shit out of every fucking team. Pee-wee, bantam, midget. We would walk into rinks and literally turn the barns inside out and walk out and still want to play another game afterwards. And I'm sorry that now we're not at that point.
There was a point in time where any sport in this city, no one else wanted to play teams from Sault Ste. Marie.
No, we were,
and it doesn't seem.
But
like
we did it with class. We weren't assholes. We did it with class.
Well,
we won 20.
That might be from your. I would like to hear what they had to say about us. I mean, I think every time I played a hockey team from Sudbury, I thought they were all pieces of shit. But wow. They were not. They were there. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but they weren't overly friendly. St. Charles High School, when I played them in Nassau. I hope anybody that's from there remembering when they lost to Sir James Dunn. I'm giving you the finger.
Sudbury, we do love you though. We got listeners from there. Just saying. There you go, Dane. Let that out. That was a lot of years in the making for Dane to say that. The Game Sports Show here live at Northern Superior Brewing Company in the tap room. Dave McCaig alongside Dane Hancherow and Justin Hykel enjoying some Northern Superior beer. And my girlfriend's is also in company enjoying the sampler. The sampler with a variety of beer. I don't even know what they have in there. But the paddle sampler. I don't know if that's the name of it, but now it is on the show.
Why don't we get that?
Yeah, the paddler sampler.
I mean, we got the fancy cups.
We do. We got the reason why they give us a fancy cup because they know we fancy, huh?
Well,
you fancy, huh? Yeah. Dave knows what I mean. No, yeah, the song.
What are you gonna do with that paddle later?
Damn! High five. I like that. I like that. That's funny. We're here live at Northern Superior Brewing Company, as I mentioned, and we're here in the tap room enjoying the beers. Company, great atmosphere at Northern Superior Brewing Company. We got the projector down between the Florida Panthers, and the Boston Bruins are currently in action. And speaking of the NHL, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the National Hockey League, the Leafs, the NHL, a little bit 3 up, 3 down to conclude the show. And in that NHL segment, we do have multiple choice. People have been asking about where the multiple choice has gone. Well, that's what happens when Dane isn't here 1 week and Justin isn't here 1 week. We have to do the multiple choice when we have 3 people. That's the name of the game. And we are going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to give you all that good stuff here on the Game Sports Show. Do not go anywhere. We're going to hear from our sponsors.
The Game Sports Show is pleased to shout out a partner, additional home, and sponsor to Northern Superior Brewing Company, located on 50 Pym Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Northern Superior Brewing Company having a strong presence locally with many beers to offer. With much involvement in the community of Sault Ste. Marie, Northern has a sport and friendly-like atmosphere within its tap room, and during the summer months, it is a must to visit Pier 55 to enjoy some delicious food, amazing view of the water, and view of the Bush Play Museum right on the cusp of the Hub Trail, and of course, all of that down with a delicious brew from Northern Superior. Northern Superior Brewing Company. It's a northern thing.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and special edition home to the game, Silver Creek Golf Course, located on 104 Bellow Lake Road, Garden River, Ontario. And also shout out thank you to Silver Creek GM Jamie Henderson. Silver Creek Golf Course has many specials to offer for 18 holes, 9 holes, and even Twilight Deal specials. It does not matter what your level of golf game is, it is a must to enjoy the scenic course, memorable experiences that Silver Golf Course offers. Silver Creek also offers a Thursday wing night for you to enjoy food after a stellar time on the course. You can book your tee time by phone or online at golfsilvercreek.com. Silver Creek Golf Course, where all are welcome to play.
The Game Sports Show wants to thank its original home, partner, and sponsor since 2015, Sports Center Bar and Grill, named the Sioux's best sports bar for 3 years in a row. Sports Center Bar and Grill is located on 624 Wellington Street West in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Make sure to come on down to Sports Center to enjoy the great atmosphere with great cold beverages available, including those delicious Molson products. Don't forget about their famous 75-cent wing nights on Wednesdays. They're truly the best wings in town. Like and follow Sports Center on Facebook at Sports Center SSM. We look forward to seeing you today. Sports Center Bar and Grill, the Sioux's best sports bar.
Get wicked at the Wicked Sister. You'll find the best tasting food for the whole family. Start off with some appetizers like the crab dip, served with warm non-bread strips and soft pretzel bites, or their antibiotic and hormone-free boneless chicken wings with 5 choices of sauces. Entrees include the barbecue pulled pork sandwich, the #1 selling drunken cow burger, or Philly cheesesteaks, and they're on special all day Thursdays. The Wicked Sister also offers a gluten-free menu and catering. Bring the whole family. The Wicked Sister, downtown Ashman Street, open 7 days a week.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank a list of additional sponsors. North Shore Sports and Auto, new location located on 647 McDonald Avenue, Sault Ste. Marie. A family-owned and operated business with doing business in Sault Ste. Marie for over 10 years. Loads of products available for your enjoyment for all seasons. North Shore Sports and Auto, we understand the importance of quality service and products, and we work hard to ensure that all customers have a positive experience before and after each and every sale. North Shore Sports and Auto, meeting all of your new and pre-owned equipment needs. Special thanks to Salon. The Salon, located on 589 2nd Line East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Mike Cuglietta. Book your appointment today at 705-941-9191 or via online at https://thesalonsioux.as.me-. The Salon, making the Sioux beautiful, one haircut at a time. As well as a shout out to the Superior Pro Shop. The Superior Pro Shop, located inside the Community First Credit Union Superior Arena on 285 Northern Avenue East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Jeremy Paquin and ran by Larry Monroe. Superior Pro Shop, for over 40 years, meet all of your skate sharpening, skate repair, and hockey needs. Also to Discover the Canvas. Discover the Canvas, located on 317 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. A beautiful, new renovated building owned and operated by expert artist and Sioux native Katrina Thibodeau. Katrina taking her talents of the ink in Sault Ste. Marie and truly creating the best and most realistic art locally. Call Katrina today at 705-450-8099 or email her at discoverthecanvas@gmail.com to book your tattoo or consultation today.
Hi, this is Joe Bowen, and you're listening to the Game Sports Show from Sault Ste. Marie.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show, the Twin Sioux's only local, regional, and national sports show. Here live from the tap room at Northern Superior Brewing Company. Been joined by Justin Hykel and Dane Hancherow. In this tap room, it's a great atmosphere. projectors down, and the beer is just going down nice and smooth. Let me tell ya. And fellas, we're getting to part 2 of the show, and we're going to dive right into it. National Hockey League. We're going to start with the Toronto Maple Leafs. We've already talked about Mac Hollowell gets his rookie contract. Congratulations to Mac there. We're definitely going to be a great fit in Toronto, I feel, and Dubas likes to keep it in the family, per se. Like to say, in terms of being a GM with the Hounds and now with the Leafs and drafting Hollowell in the 4th round of last year's draft. The Leafs are on their Western Canada swing. Calgary, Vancouver, then back the other way to Edmonton. They played against Calgary and they extinguished the flame. Let me tell you right now, there was no life in that. Tyler Ennis had a great game, goes without saying, getting a hat trick. The Flames faithful, which I don't know if it outnumbered the Leafs in the bottom section in the dome there in Calgary. But I will say right now that game was impressive for the Leafs. They played last night in Vancouver, losing in overtime after being up 2-0. Former Leaf Josh Levo gets a nice goal in the game, and I've always been a doubter of them trading Josh Levo. To be totally honest, I think that would have been a good fit on the 4th line for the Maple Leafs. However, he is having a great time in Vancouver and playing extremely well. Found his fit, so good for Josh. Anderson led in a goal from the far side from Edler. I know it's from a tough angle, the way he was standing. I think if he was in a better position, he might have stopped it, but he was the 3rd star in the game, made 28 saves. So obviously he wasn't really to blame. The Leafs offense shut down in the 3rd period. Ultimately, in overtime, they were outplayed in terms of getting outpassed. That entire overtime, Markstrom was not busy. It was Anderson, and the Leafs zone was busy. Vancouver played a very good hockey game. The Leafs now play against the Edmonton Oilers this Saturday. I know Garrett Sparks is expected to start for the Maple Leafs in that game. Not sure if Babcock will go back to Frederik Andersen. I doubt it, based on the games coming up for Toronto next week, especially another back-to-back coming up next week between Philly and Ottawa. The Leafs right now are in the depleted position of realizing they don't have Jake Gardiner in the lineup or Travis Dermott or Nazem Kadri. And this team has done very well in that 4th line. The 5-9 line of Petan, Moore, and Ennis have been very good for Toronto. And I think they've done well in terms of their injuries. I'll go around the table for thoughts on the Leafs. Justin, first.
I've been a huge fan of the 4th line the last little bit. But personally, I mean, I'd bump out Moore. I'd like Petan.
You want Freddie to play over Moore?
100%, man. Freddie's been playing unreal the last 6 weeks. Like, whatever Babcock's, he's got him with the Michael's secret stuff. That's what he's... Yeah. Like, everyone in that organization... Like, Gautier's stuck around because someone's always had faith in him, and, like, he's finally starting to...
They want him to be like Brian Boyle. That's what they want.
Well, and that's how he's been playing the last little bit. I mean, maybe it's because he's got the right line mates. Like, Ennis has been on fire the last little bit.
We've always loved
Ennis.
Ennis.
And you know what? It really seems like the locker room likes him. Like, if you're listening to the interviews with the guys, like, everyone's talking about Tyler Ennis. And Petan's been a spark plug anytime he's been getting ice time. He's out there. He's fast, and he seems to get himself in spots. Like, he was in front of the net so many times last night. I don't know how he got there.
And he's going to get a payday this summer.
Well, and they were playing him at center. No, Petan's on for another year.
No, Ennis.
Ennis, yeah.
Ennis going to get a payday. I don't think he might not be back next year.
Well, you never know, though. He might like the
fit. He's got his career back. And Petan looks good. Petan's looking pretty good.
I like how sneakily Matthews' line has turned into Andreas Johnsson, Austin Matthews, and Kasperi Kapanen.
Secretly, too.
Yeah, from the beginning of the year where it was Austin Matthews and the fellas. It wasn't Nylander. Nylander was hurt.
Yeah, but that's what the projection was, Nylander. But that's not.
Nylander stepped in, showed that he can play center if need be.
Love it. I love that.
And he's been pretty good. We're looking at getting... And I say we're, like I'm part of the team, like I usually do. But looking at getting Kadri back Saturday night against the Oilers, that's a boost. And to be honest, I think our rotating defense, bottom defense pairing, everyone's looked pretty good.
You know what I'm pretty upset about?
No one's looked out of place. No one's looked like, they're a step behind.
No.
Hey,
Marincin, I'll give him
I
credit.
told
right
you.
now.
I said that last week.
He's not been that bad.
He's
Not that bad.
No, but if you watch the Marlies games, he's been the best player on the ice most nights.
You know what upsets me, and you're going to laugh at this? I most likely do not get to see Jake Gardner play in Ottawa next week.
That's good. I don't want him having your bad shit all in his business. You're no Jake Gardner nonsense. Now you're sitting here when the radios, we're not talking publicly and saying, man, I really miss Jake Gardner. I really wish Jake Gardner was around. And meanwhile, Jake Gardner's listening to our old shows just punching his phone.
He's got a dartboard with
so,
our
with
face on it.
well, no, your
My
face.
My face.
Don't say our.
Our face. Dane, Leafs, I know you are a heavy Oiler analyst on the show, more or less, but the Leafs have that tendency of they like to get behind the 8 ball early, but they came out hot against Vancouver. Usually when the Leafs are down 2-0 the first period, they battle back and win the game 6-2. So, but the Leafs, despite these injuries, have been playing quite well.
Yeah, the only thing I have to say about that is Saturday night it's going to be 5-3 Oilers. We're due for a win against the Leafs. I mean, we played disgusting the last game, and I think we're going to come out hot. And we need to get back in the playoff race for the sake of my sanity and all Oilers fans out there. So I'm expecting big things from the Oilers on Saturday, and my confidence level in my hockey team isn't at an all-time high by any means, but if we win tonight and beat Toronto on Saturday, I'm going to call it right now, the Oilers will sneak into the playoffs, probably will lose in the first round, but we're going to sneak into a really, really bad Western Conference wild card spot.
So you turned that comment to an Oiler thing.
Yeah, I do that on the show from time to time. The Leafs got a couple injuries. They're doing all right. It was nice to see them lose last night. I didn't really see them lose. I could just hear you screaming in your room last night, dropping F-bombs. But
no, that didn't happen.
I mean, you'd rather have Jake Gardner and Nazem Kadri injured 10 games before the playoffs rather than one game before the playoffs. So I mean, I think they'll have all the boys back and have fun against Boston. I
can't fucking wait. I can't wait this year now. I'm excited. But here's
I'd be lying if I said my anxiety wasn't through the roof in regards to this matchup.
I will say right now that I don't know what Dane edibles that he has in the house that he's been having with this delusion of the Oilers making the playoffs. I think fans just sit back and enjoy the rest of the season and don't get too optimistic. Right now, don't get too optimistic if you're an Oilers fan, okay? Let me tell you, you're going to hurt yourself.
The funny part
hurt yourself.
Is that
It's so wide open, though.
Sometimes teams have to make the playoffs.
Somebody has to be the AC, and Minnesota, Colorado, and every team in front of Edmonton right now isn't playing that good. Edmonton has managed to be terrible the last month. Exception is the last 2 games or 3 games that were on a 3-game winning streak. The fact that we have a game in hand and we can come in with 5 points of being a playoff spot after all the scrutiny and all the bullshit everybody's talked about Edmonton, we're not that bad. We are bad, and we have really...
You're pretty bad. I mean...
But you should see when they play good, man. It's like it's 2 different teams sometimes. I
Men's
mean,
League plays good.
Against Toronto was one of the worst games I've ever witnessed my team watch, and I unfortunately had to watch that for you. So like I said, for the sake of my sanity, we are going to win on Saturday. We're going to have a statement win.
Men's League team is hot. It's like we used to play junior hockey too, man.
I want to kind of touch base on the West again a little bit here, but just to get a jab in on our buddy Mitch. Like, what the hell is with the Avalanche? Like, every time I finally get to see them on TV, it's like, oh yeah, the Avalanche are pretty good. And you watch the game, and it's like, Jesus,
they're a one-line team, and Nathan McKinnon needs to go on a hot roll this last 10 games here because my pool has been hurting the last month.
Boston's a one-line team too, and they've been fisting my dreams for the last 10 years.
Yeah, but Boston has defense. Have you seen? Is Carlo number 25? That guy's almost as big as Zdeno Chara. I just thought that was Zdeno Chara as I'm watching the hockey game right now.
He's so old now, Chara. That's unbelievable. Good for him. Good for him. I don't think this year is his last year. I think he's got 1 more year left in the tank.
In my NHL 19 franchise, he plays till 45, so you might have a couple more years.
Transitioning here, I want to quickly go to, speaking of people who've been in the league a long time, Matt Cullen. I know I'm a fan of Matt Cullen. 1,500 games in the National Hockey League. 41, 42 years old. God, amazing. to be at that age and play in the modern NHL era is absolutely insane. And I'm not saying he's insane. That's just absolutely incredible to see. Chris Chelios played until he was 47. I know producer Gosser fans might correct me on that, but I think that's the top of my head. I think I'm right. 47.
He played in the AHL. Like the guy loved hockey so much that he wanted to play in the AHL for the last 2 years of his career, which I think is incredible. And fun fact, I definitely can't take credit for this. I totally stole this from TSN or somebody that posted on Facebook, but there's only 4 remaining players that played with Wayne Gretzky that are still playing hockey, and it is Mac Cullen, Patrick Marleau, Zdeno Chara, and Joe Thornton are the only players. I think there's one other guy that played in the 90s but never played. Would Gretzky retired in 99 or 98?
99.
Okay, so yeah, those are the only 4 guys that have played hockey in the 90s. So that's how old we are.
Not yet. Well, I guess Yager would have been there too if he still played. But he's still technically playing in Europe.
Playing in
Europe. Playing in Europe.
The love of the game, right?
Yeah,
like,
and I love the guys.
The best kind of guys to have on your hockey team. Like I can't even imagine.
And the guy still picks up chicks like he's 20. Sorry, I'm gonna say it. That's that picture. Unreal. Unbelievable. At Barstool, love that. The guy was savage. He had a picture with his teammate's girlfriend, and then or a girl. I forget. Was it a girl?
The girl said basically, "I'm gonna post this picture of us on social media unless you give me money," and he said, "Go for it." And it happened to be like the girlfriend of like not the Czech Republic team, but like one of the players like on Sweden or Russia or something like that in the World Juniors. Like this girl was like, she's young, like old enough obviously, but he said, "Give her, go ahead and post it. Like, what do I care? He's not married, he's not nothing." She posted it on Instagram or whatever, and the guy looks like a boss, and he just nailed a girl that's half his age.
I love that we go there on this. Now we're talking about nailing. I love it. Now we're going to transition. We're going to that escalator. We're going to move from that. I like that though. It's good criteria. Good stuff. It's modern radio and podcasting. Now, modern
radio talk.
I'm going with Barstool and Spittin' Chicklets on that one, and Paul Bissonnette and Ryan Whitney. Those guys are absolute beauties. Okay, let me say it to you right now. Now, we're going to get to our multiple choice segment just a few moments here. We got about 7 minutes left on the show. I know we were going to aim for 15, but we're going to hit to the 2022 mark. So I'm going to say right now the celebrations in Carolina, we've talked about this. What do you guys think of that event at the Holyfield one?
I think that was...
How sick was that one? Was that not wild?
I don't think like Evander Holyfield's even from North Carolina. I think he's like from Georgia, so I don't see the I don't see the relevance in Evander Holyfield, but maybe he's just a diehard Carolina fan or just happened to be like in town for the hockey game and they're like, "You want to come on the ice and fake punch one of our guys?"
For standing out there and boxing with dress shoes on the ice, I thought he was going to go down.
Oh, he didn't. The
But
guy still has
he's
it.
got sturdy on his
I
feet.
wouldn't want to take that punch in the face. Fuck that. Face is too pretty for that shit.
Did you see the video of Tyson this week too?
No. What was that?
I think I saw it on Barstool. I mean, I'll show you after this. We're getting a little off
You know what would be funny if the Leafs did a celebration with Tyson going on the ice and knock him out if they beat Carolina in a game? That'd be hilarious. For a team to mock that. I use the Leaf as an example, but the Leafs don't do that. I don't think. Babcock wouldn't let that fly. So nor would Tortorella.
John Tavares goes around the ice with a snake cannon.
Wow, I like that one too. Go to the island and do that. Now, I'm going to say before we jump into a multiple choice segment, one thing that I wanted to bring up is with the playoffs around the corner and the deadline being behind us, has everything been to your expectations as you expect it to be? In terms of is there teams that haven't been really sticking out to you that you thought would have? Have teams really continued as a deadline help teams? Because my point of this is that Columbus went all in, and they're going to be part of our multiple choice segment here in just a few moments, and it's not as good as people thought it was going to be, me included.
Bobrovsky's a healthy scratch tonight.
And Bobrovsky is a healthy scratch tonight. And
What?
And the thing is, right now, Tortorella does not give a rat's ass about what anyone thinks. He wants to win hockey games. Brian Gibbons in Ottawa is getting a chance to play hockey again. Former Pittsburgh Penguin. People might not remember Brian Gibbons. Ottawa does not win a lot of games, but they're actually in a lot of games. And I really think from the trade deadline perspective, Mark Stone had a slow start in Vegas, but now he's starting to do better. And the trade deadline, from that relaxing, I haven't heard much of Simmons in Nashville as much as I thought I would have. Has any team stuck out to you in both a positive or a negative way? I really think that Columbus is the team that sticks out as a negative.
Currently,
and the team that really kind of sticks out in a positive from my end, if I want to go the realm of that, is I want to say Boston has been doing very well, and it pains me to say Marcus Johansson goes down with an injury, unfortunately. But Boston's really seems like the team that made the little couple moves to just kind of solidify. Montreal is keeping in the race in the race as well. They made some depth moves. They made the right moves. A lot of teams that bought in, like Columbus, it might not be working out right now.
Yeah, I think very few teams have been consistent this year. I think the one thing you want to look at is the consistent inconsistency. If you look at teams like Colorado, Pittsburgh, even Edmonton, who had a really hot start to the season, it seems like their play has really fluctuated up and down throughout the season, and I think you can say that about a lot of teams. I mean, Minnesota started the season out of the gate like 14-4 or something like that, and they're just hanging on to a playoff spot, the last playoff spot in the West. So, I mean, as far as expectations go with how the season's been going, I mean, the big dogs are up there, like, the Tampas, the Bostons, Washington, the Toronto.
There you go.
But yeah, I think I mean, I wouldn't say Calgary is a surprise to me. I think they finally got some legitimate goaltending, and I think that's stabled the team. And I think on paper they've always had a really good roster. But yeah, I think even the Buffalo Sabres, I think there's a lot of teams that started out of the gates hot that have just fell off the face of the earth. And I think the expectations, it might by the end of this year, it might be all the teams that I thought were going to make the playoffs kind of thing. But I definitely think a lot of the way the season's gone hasn't been to my expectations. It's been all over the map.
But a good season nonetheless. So.
It's been
Justin,
exciting.
any thoughts with that before we go to multiple choice?
I mean, I'll keep it short and sweet here. I mean, the biggest surprise for me this entire season is I expected the Montreal Canadiens to be the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Montreal has blown me out of the water.
Jack Hughes is going to the fucking Colorado.
Everyone knows how much I dislike the Habs, and I'm giving them a little bit of credit here.
That upsets me so much. I hope they don't win the lottery. I'm sorry, Colorado fans, but jeez.
Just knowing the turmoil.
Oh my God! I don't know who's Joe Sakic is on the inside in Ottawa or something. Oh, jeez, yeah. Here we go. A little jab to Maple Leafs there. Two little jab, but either way, Boston didn't get anything for Tyler Seguin now in that trade. Didn't work out. The Leafs won that trade in the end. That's right. Nothing. Got a couple tattoos. Couple tattoos, couple girls, couple Vegas trips.
Couple 80-point seasons, and first round playoffs.
Yes, he did do that. Oh, yeah. Anyway, pure animal. Okay, multiple choice segment. Dane, you're going to ask, we're going to do this kind of different. You're going to ask the question you brought, Justin, then me to conclude, and then I'll conclude the show with a quick 3 up, 3 down in baseball. Dane, and we go around and remind the listeners a multiple choice segment. They give us some options for multiple choice. Quick, short, and sweet answers since we are questions for time. Dane, your question, my friend. Go.
My question for Justin and Dave and Hannah, if you want to chime in on this, is the greatest goal scorers of all time. They can be, I'll have a list here. It is, in my opinion, I would put Marcel Dion in there, Brett Hall, Alexander Ovechkin, and Phil Esposito should be in there. And just for more modern players, we're gonna add a little bit more than 4 picks here. I'm gonna put Patrick Kane and Patrick Laine in there too.
Jesus,
I think
that's 6 people.
Yeah, 6 people. Pick one of them.
Okay, Laine is definitely not on there.
Streakier
than Phil Kessel back when he was a
but I mean, personally, if I'm picking one right now,
we'll go to you to get your answer last. Okay, that's how we'll do it. If you ask the question, you go last.
Okay. Well, I mean, for me, I'm taking Ovechkin. Just the guy's on fire, and he's still going. So.
Yeah, you know what? I'm sorry, this might be an obvious pick, but Ovechkin, and then I'll say quickly the reason why modern era hockey it's different than what it was older. Like Marcel Dion, I have nothing. I was very close to picking Marcel Dion, for him to be totally honest with you, but highly underrated, and also in the era where people judged hockey in comparison to today's hockey, to be able to keep up and score at the pace that Ovechkin has been doing still at his age, amazing. He is the one thing that sticks out to me in terms of modern scoring. But don't forget, hockey, the technology sticks. Everything is so much different, so it's almost hard to compare. But you got to say Ovechkin. If Ovechkin had the same thing that he had now and did that in 1980, my God. So Ovechkin's my answer.
Yeah, I think it has to be Alexander Ovechkin. The guy's only 150 goals away from catching Gordie Howe for second all time, which I think is a lock to do.
He's 894.
Yes, 898, I believe, or 894. Yeah, you're correct. Yeah. You're right. So I think, in the next 3-4 seasons, I still think Alexander Ovechkin is going to be a really good hockey player, and he's going to score a lot of goals. I do think he's going to catch that second, but just for him to even be in the conversation to being able to catch Gretzky for all-time goal scoring, I think in today's NHL is for pure goal scorer, absolutely.
Justin, your question, my friend.
All right. Pretty easy one. Who's missing the playoffs? Pittsburgh, Columbus, Carolina, or the Habs? Because fuck them.
Because the Habs are in the conversation making the playoffs. Wow. I don't know why I put myself first, throwing it right on the spot. You know what? I said Columbus was going to make it.
Did we have the Pens too?
Yeah, Pens. So you have Pens, Carolina, Columbus, and Montreal. I'm sorry, I hate to do this, and I know it's a word we don't like to use. I've had faith in Columbus and Carolina to make it. I really think Pittsburgh's too good not to make it. Sorry, Montreal. I'm going to say right now that you're going to be the Leafs of 2006 when they lost to Tampa when they made it in the 8th seed. What was that? No, not 06. When Aubin was the goalie, and when New Jersey made it in as the 8th seed. Remember Toronto finished that? JS Aubin when they went 10-0.
Wasn't that the Islanders and
Islanders, Dubowitz, that year. The Montreal Canadiens, I'll say right now, I'll be nice. I think you're going to lose by 1 point to not get into the playoffs. I'm sorry, I don't mean that. The Chirp, you have a very good team. You have a lot of future to look ahead of you, to be honest. But between Carolina, Pittsburgh, and Columbus, I don't think Columbus does not get in. I just can't see them not getting in. So I'm going to go with the team not getting in, Montreal Canadiens.
I do think Montreal is definitely going to get in. I think, unfortunately, the Columbus Blue Jackets that just yard sailed their whole future for this season. If Bobrovsky's a healthy scratch tonight, internally, things are not good there. And this is not the time where the team needs not being buddies with each other. So, I'm going to go Columbus, and I don't want to say it because I actually like Columbus. I think they've had really good, exciting playoff rounds, and they always lose in the first round. But, yeah, Columbus, things are not good there right now.
Justin, your answer to your question.
Personally, you bet against Pittsburgh, it screws you every time. That's how that goes. Oh, yeah. You can't bet that the Penguins aren't going to make the playoffs because they're going to make the playoffs and then win 2 cups in a row and fuck you over again. Nothing personal there whatsoever. I think Montreal makes the playoffs because I'd like to see some interesting matchups there. The one that's sticking out to me, and I hate to say it because I love the celebration thing, but I don't think the Carolina Hurricanes make the playoffs. And my logic behind this is that curse of Don Cherry. As soon as Don Cherry decides that he doesn't like something about your team, it's like a hex.
Yeah, the Sioux knows.
Well, that's exactly it. Been hot dogging it all the way to the OHL finals, and then there it is.
Carolina's 8-1-1.
Okay, if he one random question,
the hottest team out of all those teams that.
If one random question, if he says one more personal thing about the Sioux or one more bad thing about the Sioux, do you think it's personal, Don Cherry?
I took it personal a while ago because he thought he was clever with his hot dog comment. And then
hot dogs with cheese.
Well, the thing, why did no one in the Greyhounds marketing department just put that on T-shirts?
The only you know who did that? Burger Don. Burger Don's the only thing that put something on the side. The Hounds did not feed that.
Why wouldn't you make playoff T-shirts that says "bunch of hot dogs"? How many
with
T-shirts?
Don Cherry's face.
People rally around that kind of stuff, and I think that would have been a genius idea.
Where were you last year with that? What the fuck? We gained sports show of hot dog for the playoffs.
Only took you a year to figure it out.
Holy shit! I'm going to get the contacts that I know on the Hounds and maybe get on that shit. But next question. Okay, I'm going to go the route of more of a boring kind of question, but the Vezina race. Very curious. No, I'm curious because I think it's a tight race for the Vezina. And my 4 options, Vasilevsky, Fleury, Anderson is in there for me as well. Or if you want to go the realm of Pekka Rinne. Okay, those are the 4 that I'm going to throw on the table for the Vezina Trophy. Dane first.
I'm actually going to say Anderson because I think the Leafs have the worst defensive team out of all those teams, and I think that guy has stood on his head and at times makes the Leafs look like a lot better team than I think they are from time to time.
Christ.
I think, I don't need to ramble on about the Leafs' defensive play and their structure in their own zone. But. Justin.
I mean, my gut tells me Anderson, but I want to be a little different here. And it's what goalie means the most to their team. I mean, I'm taking Fleury.
Wow. Good.
That's where I'm at with that. That's just, I mean, especially last night after watching him try to fight Riddick.
I know he was hurt, and I'm sorry, Freddie. I chant your name when you make saves too, but I'm going Vasilevsky.
I'm the only guy that picked.
And I really think that just with Vasilevsky, when he's on the Tampa Bay Lightning, they did well without him. And a big thing about the Vezina is being that key piece to your goaltending thing. But Vasilevsky's had a great season, and I strongly feel that that's what the NHL is going to lean on it. Freddie Anderson will be second in the runner-up, but he will win a Vezina in Toronto. Mark my words. Fellas, I'm going to sign you guys off quick before I do my 3 up, 3 down. I know you guys are going to wait for me before I leave those, so you don't make me walk out in the cold. But nonetheless, you're going to hold my hand out there, Dane. Hold my hand. Dane, I want to thank you for coming by. Next week, we're going to be at Icebreakers. We won't be here next week at Northern. 2-hour special from Icebreaker Sports Bar and Grill next week.
It's going to turn into 4 hours like that one time at Sports Center.
Dave McCaig 2-hour special means I have to take Wednesday off work.
Justin, thanks. Next week?
100%. If we're doing a 2-hour special.
Oh, wait, 2.5. Let's get real.
2.5.
2.5. And I got to give a shout out to Blake in the background, too. You guys do a fantastic job. The Blake Winter Pick'em Fantasy Trophy. That was a thing this year with football. They can hear on the Sports Center show of the Game Sports Show. A quick up, 3 down, 3 up, 3 down with baseball that I'm going to say quickly. Vladimir Guerrero, first point, first swing here. Vladimir Jr. Oh, my God. The guy's a beast. The guy is an absolute mammoth. And I love his swing. I don't really like him at third base is my point for my 3 up, 3 down for 1 point. I don't like Vlad on third base. I really think he's going to end up being a first baseman. For 1 point. Second point. Bryce Harper does not know how to clap. Random topic. Look it up on Barstool. The guy claps with his fingers spread out and slaps it like an eel or a seal. Seal. Like a seal is the thing I want to say. And Bryce Harper, though, is my whole point that he is going to be a stud on Philly. The guy is going to hit. I said this on last week's show. I'll guarantee you Harper's hitting 40 dingers this year. Bryce Harper will hit 40 home runs this year. That is my prediction with the Phillies. Congratulations on getting that. That's just my second point. Third point, Dallas Keuchel has been getting offers from the Houston Astros, who is still a free agent. Spring training's other way. He's one of the best pitchers in the game, and he has been not signed yet. The Yankees have been involved. You have the Red Sox, of course, the 2 freaking evil empires of the MLB, always chiming in to get the studs. Where are the Blue Jays on this? Nah, we're just going to rebuild. Is that what we're doing? I get it. But you know what? You have money, Rogers Media. Trust me, I know you guys got lots of money. I've worked there as a casual employee. I still am a casual employee as Rogers Media. I know the money you guys have. You're not going to get me in trouble for saying that. I can say what I want here on my show. So my thing is, please throw some freaking money at some players. Dallas Keuchel's still there. You got some good infielders that are still there. I know you want the young guys to come up, Bo Bichette, Vlad Jr., but I don't want those guys there yet this year. I want Vlad to have 1 more year down full in the minors. I want him to play 10 games in the roster expansion in September. I want him to start the season, 3 games with the Jays potentially, sure. But next year will be his year full-time with the Jays. It buys him another year before free agency. Someone sign Dallas Keuchel, please. And I want the Jays, though. Do they have a chance? Absolutely not. They don't. But the Jays should be considering that they should be signing some more guys. That's my third point. 3 up, 3 down. Swing and a miss, or did I hit a dinger? I think I hit a dinger. Just saying. Dave McCaig have been here live at Northern Superior Brewing Company as I signed off Dane and Justin, and they went into the night into Gotham City. Just kidding. Sault Ste. Marie, that is not Gotham City. I've been here live at Northern Superior Brewing Company. Enjoyed some nice, delicious beverages. As I mentioned, we will not obviously have a show for the rest of this week until on Monday at the Wicked Sister. Myself, Scott Nason, EJ Russell, and Butch Davis live at the Wicked Sister on Monday. We will have a show on Tuesday from Icebreaker Sports Bar and Grill, and that show will be at 7:30 will be the time we arrive, airtime at 8 o'clock until 10 o'clock at night, and then we will not have a show on Wednesday or Thursday next week due to yours truly going out of town on a trip to Montreal and to Ottawa. We've had an action-packed show as always tonight. I want to say thank you to the listeners for coming on by tonight. I want to say thanks to Scott Nason, our board operator. Thanks to Dane and Justin, our usual contributors here on the Game Sports Show from Northern Superior, to the staff here at Northern Superior. I also want to say shout out to my girlfriend, Anna Marsh, who has been in the background here supporting and not trying to laugh while I've been recording the show, which is a very nice thing. I also want to say thanks to all of our sponsors. You obviously got Northern Superior Brewing Company, who do a fantastic job. It's a northern thing here at Northern Superior, and I can't wait for the summer. We have our summer edition shows right on the patio there. Oh my God, from Pier 55, it's going to be absolutely amazing. I want to thank the Sports Center Bar and Grill. I want to say thank you to the Wicked Sister, Eagle 95.1, the Salon, North Shore Sports and Auto, Northern Critters in Need, and I love Northern Critters in Need. I got a dog at home that I'm fostering now that I love very much, that I'm very much attached to. If you need a buddy, like I said, Kendrick is the way to go. Big Brother, Big Sister, Discover the Canvas, the Superior Pro Shop, Pingator Cleaners. Also, to give a shout out to Northern Signs, as their T-shirts that were made for us to contact if you want to get a T-shirt and donate to charities, Big Brother, Big Sister, and Northern Critters in Need as well. They always do a great job, our sponsors. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be where we are today, and without the listeners, we wouldn't be where we are today. It's been Dave McCaig here, live from Northern Superior Brewing Company. Hopefully you enjoyed tonight's show, and until next week, Monday from the Wicked Sister, I want to remind listeners to keep your stick on the ice, swing your bat, catch your touchdown, train your threes, and shoot your shots. Booyah.